Hello guys, and welcome to this video where we're going to showcase a little bit about Line War. So this is a game I played against Basantos, and it's map seed 21436 on Alpha 20 of Line War, this game that we're creating. It's mostly an RTS game, but there's some elements from other strategy games as well. When you begin, the first thing you have to do is pick your starting territory, and if you end up picking the same territory or nearby ones, it becomes marked as a no-go zone, just like this one. And we ended up both wanting to start on the central island, and we decided that wasn't going to work. So my second choice was this north island, and I was waiting for Basantos, my opponent here, to pick his starting territory as well to see if we got another conflict, or maybe he starts somewhere else on the map. So I got the starting position, and you get another 5 picks. So I picked some surrounding territories, and this is where you start. And this island doesn't offer a lot of expansion, but I quickly draw some commands so to begin to conquer those territories. And then I go for an early refinery build here, and refineries are required so you can transport your troops across the sea. So I build a shipyard as well, so early refinery, early shipyard. And then I also went for an early sub-pen to start producing submarines so I can patrol and scout this area. I still don't really know where my opponent is, so I have to figure it out. Did he start on the East Island? Did he go west? Or is he in the south? My infantry here will quickly conquer this North Island, so it's very important that I start producing some troop ships so I can start transporting them to start conquering the central island and both expand to the east and the west. So when I panel around a little bit like this, I'm just considering my options and reading what I should be doing, how long will it take to conquer the unconquered territories, and how should I bring my troops. And these orange looking or yellow arrows, they're conquering commands, and if they encounter an enemy they'll also engage. It's an engage command. But when you have that little flag on the command, it will also conquer those territories. I pan around a little bit to have a look what to start thinking where he could be starting. And then I'm starting to gather my troops here on the south shore and on the east shore. So once my troop ships are produced, I should be able to ship those units across. I've also prepared with this blue move path that's coming out of the shipyard. And that's filtered to set that my troop ship should be moving there. So once that's built and finished, and once I have to construct the port itself first, then it should move towards those troops. I also built a second refinery because I really need to accumulate a lot of energy on this map. All the sea troops, all the airplanes or air units, and if you build tanks on the land, they all require energy. And so it's really important to start bunkering up on that energy so I don't run out. There's nothing worse than to run out of energy during an important stage of the game. Then I draw a command to move the infantry across now, and they should come down to that shoreline pretty soon. My troop ship there will be finished as well. I'm also going to start moving some infantry back to the west shore because I don't want to really conquer everything on the main. I want to send some troops to start expanding to the west as well. One pretty good thing is that you can draw the commands in advance, and the AI will pick up those commands, and the units will find a command that's they're going to be attracted to. And here's the first troop ship now that was produced. So it's following this pre-prepared move path. And the troops have accumulated themselves by the shoreline there because I've got that amphibious command. So now that the troop ship arrives there, it'll start moving those troops across. And since it's a orange or yellow move command or conquer command there, the amphibious one, they'll start to conquer as they come across. Then I prepare to send my second troop ship there to the west, so those guys can start jumping over and conquering those additional territories. My first submarine is produced in the north as well, and that starts to conquer territory. We also have conquerable sea territories, a few of them. I still haven't spotted my enemy, so I'm not sure where he's started. And I'm pretty sure he wasn't starting on the main since we got the no pick there. So he's either in the east or in the west. Now I switch production in the shipyard to start producing destroyers. They will spot if the enemy's got any submarines. They have a greater visibility range. So submarines are stealthy units. So if even if the enemy can see through the fog of war, this lit up area, they might not necessarily see stealthy units like submarines and commandos. Now I've conquered my first territory on the central island, and I've got plenty of troops to ship across there. So it's looking good so far. Still no sight of my enemy. And that troop ship is now going to go and join that pre-prepared command and ship those troops over. And then I build a barrack here on the central island. So since I'm going to start producing troops there, I can continue my expansion to the east as well. So I move my troop ship and start boarding them, or they already were boarded, so they're going to ship those across to the east island, and then I'm moving the infantry there towards the shoreline so I get a shorter jump across. So I still haven't spotted my enemy, starting to wonder where he's at. I'm happy I haven't seen him on Central Island yet, so far so good. Submarines are coming out. They finished conquering that sea territory, so I'll send them down to scout in the fjords, or whatever you call that. First destroyer was produced by the shipyard there, so that's going to go out and conquer a sea territory. And I'll just draw some more expand and conquer commands for those infantry. And here we go. Here's the first encounter of my opponent there. He's got some infantry in the mountains, so he's started on the east island. I'm going to ship some more units across, and I'll draw a defense line here in the mountain. If you do a defense line in the mountains, once they've settled on that defense line, they actually gain a bonus, a defense bonus, so they become even stronger. A defense line also gives you a protection bonus, and if that's placed in the mountains, you get even more resistant force. And I'm surprised I still haven't seen him on the central island here. I'm happy, but surprised. And here's our first sea encounter. That's a destroyer that's coming. And he's already, of course, spotted my submarine, because the destroyer is really good at spotting those. But I've got two submarines, and those two will sink that destroyer. So they're outnumbering those. They're pretty equal if they meet 1 by 1. Or 1 to 1. So this little expansion to the west is looking good. So I'm starting to send troops down all the way to the main, or the big island that's all the way over there in the west. And the destroyer sank. And I've got some additional submarines to join, and I haven't seen any other sea units so far. So I'm still feeling pretty confident here. I'm starting to produce some missile ships as well. I'm starting to worry a little bit that he might have aircraft coming from that east island. I moved the submarines closer to the coast so I can scout, and here we go. We've got some more infantry coming up. And we've got some fiddling to do with the commands here. It's not allowing me to draw, so we have to improve that a little bit, so we don't have to sit and draw the commands over and over again. But we'll capture those remaining territories. And the submarines, I have to move them out a little bit from the shore, because the infantry can actually spot them if they're that close and fire at them. That choke is really important. It's so narrow that I'm feeling really confident that I'll be able to ship enough infantry across there and capture that north tip. That choke point is really advantageous for me, and it's also very slow to move across the mountains. And I ship my destroyers over there as well, because since I've encountered him over there, I expect that he'll be starting to send some ships up. And if you had a keen eye there, you spotted maybe there was a red infantry in the forest. I didn't actually spot that during playing this match. So he's boarded, or he's sent a troop ship to the central island. And in the north here, expansion is going pretty good. I'm outnumbering him, so I'll start to move in on him and attack. And here we go. Here's a lonesome little missile ship for anti-air, and he probably doesn't even spot my submarines there. So those 3 subs will easily sink that missile ship. Now he's reacted, but that will sink fast. He's taken defense lines in the north and in the mountains there, and it's quite costly if I were to attack those, so I draw up my own defense lines there. I spot some more single units here. My 3 subs should be able to take out that missile ship and that destroyer. And then I've managed to send some troops now to start conquering the West Island, uncontested so far, and on the central, so I'm feeling super strong now. And here we've got company now. We've got 3 missile ships and 1 destroyer. And the missile ships are not so good against subs, so I'll just have them go a little bit north and hopefully take those out on their journey. My destroyers will help to join the fight here from shooting from the sea there. And I built my first barrack on the North Island. I still haven't spotted a producing barrack or a factory on his behalf, so I should be able to keep that strong. And here we go, my subs got outnumbered. 2 destroyers joined and they sank fairly fast. And now I spotted that he was attacking me on the main island. I hadn't spotted that, so I hope I can save that barrack. Or barracks? Barrack, sure. Let's even jump over to the south tip of the island now. This is looking good. So I'll get my troops down there and send my troop ship around the little tip there. And he's coming up with a bit of a force, so I have to start retreating now with my sea units. I don't really want to lose those. Plus I want to lure him to chase me, because first of all I'll get closer to my sea producers and he'll have to use a lot of energy to catch me. And it looks like I'm going to save that barrack on the central island, just about. Caught it just in time. North Ireland looks good with the infantry. They're lined up there. It's not much happening. We're just taking, but I feel very confident there. And now I try to trick him back even further. So he's going to be further away from his shipyards. I'll be able to produce some more subs. And then I'll do a flanking maneuver on the top there for the infantry. Hopefully he's not looking there too much. And I've got some reinforcement. I've got a cruiser coming there to join the party. And let's build a town there to gather some extra capital. I could afford that. And this is looking good. I managed to suck him into that, I don't know, passage. And I'm going to try to surround him a little bit here now with my sea units. Don't know why I sent my cruiser back. I should have probably kept him there. He's building a refinery there, which is really exposed. I should be able to take that one out from the sea with my cruisers later. So I sink those ships. And the flanking attack there in the north went well with my infantry. And ooh, what's this? I sent some guys across to start conquering, and I didn't expect, or I didn't notice that he was already holding that one, so they got killed. Plan B. I'll send them over to the west instead. There's no point in me going across. And there we've got a little bug here that we need to sort out. It's not allowing me to draw those commands, the amphibious commands, but they'll be fixed. So this is an alpha and still a pretty early state. And those guys are not going to be able to attack that defense line. So I'll move them a little bit up to hopefully start eating from the very side there with all of those infantry guys. And we're having a bit of a standoff here. He's accumulating. He's got 2 cruisers, 2 missile ships, and a destroyer. I built my second shipyard now to start producing some more sea units. I need a stronger navy here. And I've got some more submarines to join in. And I'm going to try to focus my attack there on the flank, but he's regrouping. So I'm moving back with my troops there and putting a little defense by my own barracks so I don't lose that one. So reconsidering, or I'm considering my options here. I could afford to build another town. I want to start building some ports there so I can get those trade routes going. Trade routes give a lot of money if you manage to build them and protect them. Put a defense line there in the forest in case he does come across with some more troops. I should be able to protect myself there. And then I'm cleaning up some commands here. That little amphibious crossing there did not go well, so bring my troop ship up to protect it. And not much is going on with the infantry here in the north. I'll just consider my options here, but I'll retreat them. He's coming up now with his ships. I don't think he knows how many subs I've got. He doesn't see those submarines. They'll be submerged in his view and out of sight. And he's going to try to surprisingly go for my infantry there, but I'm very much outnumbering his forces here now, so I should be able to sink this whole fleet. And he detected that very fast and retreated. I bring my troops a little bit closer, or my ships, I should say. Torpedo even sank that one. And he's coming across here now. So I have to start sending some of my infantry down to there. And there I built my first port. And the ports will produce cargo ships that will start to commute those little dashed lines. Putting some conquer lines up in the north there. Hopefully I'll be able to grab a few of those territories back. I'm surprised he actually managed to get enough infantry up there. Should have probably been a little bit more aggressive on, since I outnumbered him there. I should have gone stronger. Can't build that port just yet. That town needs to be finished building first. And he's coming over quite strong now. He's bringing artillery across, and he's got a navy presence. So I have to retreat here and start building some more troops in my north part of the island. And here I'll just continue to conquer those regions. So when you conquer territories and they become your color, then they'll start gathering you income, so capital. And here we've got that bug again. We need to sort out so we can draw those line a little bit less error, with fewer errors. I should have done an attack there a lot sooner, but I'm outnumbering him by far now, so I'm flanking it, and I'm going to be able to take those out, I'm pretty sure, and also knock that refinery out to reduce his energy income. I'm also outnumbering in the north with the infantry there, and these ship with all those torpedoes and pounding cruisers. I'm going to take that fleet out. Like I said, I should have done that probably a lot earlier, so I could have started to attack his defense line and also that refinery. My troop ship is dying there, and I have to reconsider now. I've got to start sending my navy so he doesn't come out into this big sea, because I need to protect this area. My ports are going to be very important to protect there, so I can get those cargo ships. That troop ship, I should have probably retreated. I forgot about that. And those submarines will take care of the two cruisers and that missile ship. And I can start bringing down my infantry now and reconquering those territories in the north. Since I noticed that he's coming across onto the central island, I'm going to ship some more of my mainland, or my starting island, troops across, so I'll send some more infantry across. And now it's time to get rid of that refinery to start reducing his energy income. The submarines can't do anything about that refinery, but the cruisers and even my destroyers at this point will reach it. And I expect we're going to be battling on this central island a lot, so I have to build more producers. Built another factory there, so I've got... he's coming across with a lot of troops, and he's probably going to create quite a strong presence here. So that refinery is history. I'll start to move across with my own troops now and hopefully start eating in a little bit on his land. And as I conquer his territories, he'll start to lose income from those. So every territory gives you 12 capital income per minute. So if I take one and he loses one, it shifts a decent amount in the economy. That means I gain another 12 every minute and he loses 12 every minute. He's going after my trade route now, and I missed that. So I have to send what I've got, and I only have a cruiser at this point and a missile ship. So my port there that is has begun to produce those cargo ships is threatened. And he's also coming after me here he's managed to gather quite a lot of strength, so I have to retreat with my fleet. One good thing is when he chases me and I retreat like this is that his tip cruiser there is getting exposed to a lot of torpedo hits, so the it's quite costly, I think, for him to chase me like that. And I have to send everything that I've got here to try to protect those ports. And now my infantry is really exposed to his navy. They'll be hammered from the coastline there, so I have to bring some more troops or some more navy over there. This expansion is uncontested, but I'll build a barrack there to speed it up. Then I can start to produce some infantry on the island to conquer it faster. And while his navy here is distracted by firing on my infantry, I'll manage to flank him here and got a lot of guns onto those ships. So I think he must have been looking elsewhere on the map, luckily enough for me. And I also managed to protect that town and port just about. So he retreated with those 2 destroyers, so I just make sure I try to take those out so they don't come back and haunt me. So, having a bit of an assessment, not sure what's going to happen there. We're about the same strength. And that was looking pretty decent. Expansion here going well. I haven't seen any enemy. I'll start to build a factory there as well. I want to start to produce some troops that I can ship over for an amphibious assault on his land in the south there, hopefully unexpected. And he's got a lot of cannons firing at me now, so I have to retreat. And don't really have any reinforcements coming that way. And his artillery is looking really threatening here now on my central island. I've got a lot of infantry, but the artillery, especially on a line like that, will reach further. So that could become quite dangerous. So managed to sink those destroyers and save my trade route there, which is very important for my economy. And since I retreated, my infantry is now exposed to his navy, so they'll be eaten up quite fast. I should have probably retreated that, but I was busy on the main island here. And since I had a lot of infantry and he's got a long way to go for his producers, I decided to go for move commands here and try to just outnumber his infantry, or his artillery, of course. And now I think I'm starting to accumulate a strong enough navy there to counter-attack those ships that he had. And I also think I had enough infantry to run through the forest here, and even though the artillery can fire on them while they're running, they should outnumber those and take them out, hopefully. So now I'm going to sweep down with my navy, and I have to start caring about what's going on in the South Sea there. I expect him to start jumping across to that island soon. And he's bringing reinforcements, so I ended up losing most of my navy here, I think. So I'm back a little bit to square one. I had to retreat my infantry as well, and he's coming up with quite a few numbers of units there, so I have to just regroup and protect that little mountain range there. This one is looking pretty decent. I had just about enough infantry to cannon fodder my way through those lines and reach his artillery, but I have to build more producers there, so I put down another factory there. And then I start to sweep around with my own navy now to have a look what's going on. And here, still uncontested, so that's looking really good for my economy. Okay, calm down a little bit. We've got some debris at the bottom of the ocean floor here, but I'm not going to be able to do much about this at the moment. My fleet is pretty damaged, and he's probably going to bring some reinforcements up. I have to regroup. The central island confrontation went well. I managed to just about outnumber his troops there and counter-attack those. Build another refinery. I've got I consume a lot more energy than I'm bringing in. If you see the top right bar there, it's actually consuming twice as much as I'm bringing in, so I have to build some more refineries there. And he's bringing up a lot of infantry now. And he's starting to outnumber me there now. I didn't handle that situation very well. So I have to draw my defense line back at my producer, so he has to walk all the way over there and attack them. And here I'm going to try to go for his producers now. So I'm just running through the forest, coming out, and hopefully I'll be able to take out at least a barrack or two, or even that factory. And my fleet is coming across there at the bottom as well. So I don't have much energy left though, 36. And I've got a lot of ships up here. And now I spotted that he's got some towns here, and he's got producers coming here. So, see if I can do some damage down there. My infantry is just about reaching his producers, and hopefully I'll be able to take at least one of them out. He's put a defense line there though. Got a cruiser joining in, and I managed to sink some of his troop ships there. The attack on the North Island is struggling a lot. I'm not quite getting through. His defense line's really well placed there, so I'm just about not getting through to any of them. And he's starting to counterattack me now. So I have to reconsider my options here. I have to bring my units back and protect myself again. We've got about the same number of producers there. But he's shipping troops across now with his troop ships. And he's flooding in with a lot of guys in the north. But he's moved his navy down there to attack me, so I have to retreat there. And then this expansion is nearly done, so I can start bringing my units back now and start to consider about getting those across to him. And again, we have to improve those command drawings a bit so we don't get those validation errors. Bit of frustration there. Break them up into multiple commands. So I didn't tend to my ships there very well, so they ended up sinking. I should have retreated them earlier, but at least he gave me a little window up here in the north. And it was give or take. When he started to ship some units across there, I don't have a tremendous amount of protection there on the central island anymore, so it was important for me to retreat with my units there, flee. And now, since I've got my navy up here and I started to move it down, I see that he's got a potential trade route down there that I want to make sure that if I find it, I'm going to knock it out. And here I realized that I had to build another barrack, and I have to produce a lot more troops here. And I'm scaringly low on, I don't think I realized I only have 17 left, and I'm using twice as much energy as I'm bringing in. So I don't think I spotted that at this point when I was playing. And running low on energy is could be devastating. If you run out of energy and your ships are stranded at sea, then they take twice the amount of damage if they don't have any energy. And here I go, 4 left energy, 3. And I just about reached all of his shipyards here, which was a nice surprise. So I move in on them, and there I ran out of energy. All of those black puffs there means I've got no energy. But I just reached them, and even with no energy, I can still pound at them. And I could regroup here on my... and he's coming on with a scaringly strong force there towards my producers. But I managed to knock the first shipyard out. And I think I just about take out the second one here as well. A lot of torpedoes firing at that one. And then they can redirect all their energy on those cruisers. And I'm not sure how much energy he's got at the moment. But I'm starting to gather a little bit of energy since I'm not moving anywhere else. And here I've started to produce some troop ships. I want to start shipping those. Again, looking quite scary here in the north, so I have to start bringing some of my troops in and counter-attacking his units there. But this part looks really good. My ships managed to sweep around, take out all those 3 shipyards along the way and head towards that town, and he's got a trade route, so that would be like a gold mine if I struck that one. Or rather, I'd taken his gold mine back. So just about have enough energy to bring my ships around to there. And I can see on the tip there now, he's actually come across, but I should be able to outnumber him with my troops that are coming from the inland there. And now I move in on the port. That trade route should be history. He's got no protection for it, so the cargo ships and everything will go. And I have to build... Oh, that one didn't actually build. I didn't have enough capital, so we have to fix the sound effect for that. So I can't see exactly what he's got in the forest. I'll have to bring my cruisers and my navy across here to start firing from the sea. And I should have probably made use out of those a long time ago, those ships. They were just sitting there, costing me money. Upkeep, you have to pay taxes. And this is looking good. I'm knocked out the port, the trade route is gone, and I'll be able to take that refinery out on top of that. So that's welcome support now from the ocean, and again, I should have long ago used those. That was a very much waste of the upkeep just sitting there. Now start firing on that refinery there. And here's our encounter. I shouldn't have to worry too much about that. Now I can bring these ships across, because he'll have a town on the other side there. And that cruiser will remain firing on that burning refinery, knock his energy production out there. Those sea units made me get the upper hand slightly there, plus my producers are really close there, so I managed to just about outnumber him there. And I have enough money now to build yet another factory. And I've got a few troop ships here. Switch that to missile ships, and I'll actually do one of each: missile ship, destroyer and cruiser. And now I spotted that it didn't actually knock that refinery out, so I have to send some troops back. And I've used up my own energy, so that was a mistake. And here we found a sub pen. And I don't know if he's actually produced many or if any subs there, but I found it in good time. Stumbled across it. I know Basantos hates when I stumble across things like that, but to be fair, I should have detected that one a lot earlier if I wouldn't have sat on my behind there. So that port is about to go. There it went. I just heard it. And there's the sub pen. And there's a refinery that we can take out. And he managed to escape with a few subs. So here I have to spend some time filtering out to make sure I send my destroyers northbound, and I'll keep my cruisers down here to fire on that refinery. So I set the filter to just go north there, but I ran out of energy. And I think I should have done something about that a long time ago. And that north tip there, I totally forgot to look at that one, so I actually lost that. Now he took out my barrack. And he's got a couple of airports there that I have to worry about. So I've got a few missile ships there, which is good. And there we go, knocked out the town. But we've got another bug there. Those two destroyers, or the two cruisers that were up there, didn't actually spot that refinery, which is super strange. It's burning in the forest, but because it's in the forest, it's you can't see it. But that's a bug, of course, because they've spotted it, so they should be able to continue firing on it. And you can start preparing a little infiltration there of or an attack. And see those two cruisers there, because that refinery is in the forest, it's repairing itself. And even though I see it, those two cruisers can't. So that was a frustration as well. I had to bring back my other troops here to reinforce the sites through the forest there. And again, that's a bug, because you can see that it's there clearly. He's bringing out his helicopters, and I don't really have many missile ships there, so I'm very vulnerable to his air units. And those troops I can bring back. And I have to bring those submarines across there to give them more vision. I've got a couple of missile ships coming down to protect against his air units. I'm starting to accumulate a fair amount of troops now in terms of my own producers there. I've got a lot of producer presence there. I've got 2 missile ships in production. I hear tanks, so in the forest there it's starting to build a tank force. And I have to actually bring back all my units there to just see that refinery. And I'm got hardly any energy. So I haven't planned my energy very well. He's got a power plant over there, I can't reach that one. That also generates energy, but half the amount of a refinery, and it costs the same as a refinery. So now I have to regroup again. He's becoming strong there. He's getting tanks. He's got double airports. He's got another factory there. He's got 4 barracks. So I have to retreat again here and bring my missile ships up to protect. And then meanwhile, I'll do my own little invasion here. I don't know how much he's protecting those that town there, so we'll have to find out. And finally got rid of that one. Cost a lot of time and energy to knock that one out, so very bad planning on my behalf. So retreated, building up my army there again. Cleaning up some commands there. That was a failure, that I lost that one. But I've got a few helicopters there now. I don't think he's got any anti-air units there, so I can start cleaning up. And I don't think he spotted me there as well. And I ran out of energy again. So energy is important. And I still haven't spent any money to build another refinery, which is absolutely crazy. I've only got those 2 refineries powering the whole thing. Or did I build one in the west as well, possibly? So I knocked the town out, and those tanks will be outnumbered. But again, my reinforcements are super slow because of that energy, lack of energy. Everything's puffing smoke at the moment. And those helicopters will be able to take out that town, hopefully. And if they find any units on the way, they'll knock those out. He's got no protection against them. And I've got no air protection here, so my units here are vulnerable. The only one, the subs can't do anything. The cruisers can fire a little bit, but they're very ineffective against them. And I've got no energy still. And my income is very bad. I'm going back 231 per minute, so I'm actually losing money here. I can't really produce anything, and I've overproduced missile ships that are just sitting there. Shame on me. That is very bad. I think when Basantos sees this, he's going to be annoyed, because that was very weak playing on my behalf. Usually when you have this little energy, it's game changing or game ending. So I'm very surprised. And those are just sitting ducks there. The submarines are eaten up, the cruiser is eaten up. But here where I'm starting to produce quite a lot of units there. Those 3 helicopters still haven't knocked out that town. So I think probably cost me the same amount of fuel the way he spent to build it. So not so good. Sneak with this single unit. And finally I'll be able to get some of my missile ships across here. So powering my whole fleet here on 3 refineries. And why I haven't built one up there in the north is beyond me. Probably because I couldn't afford it at the moment. And I should have switched submarine production off. I mean, looking at it in hindsight, there's so many things I should have done very different, so there's a lot to improve on my game here. So finally I'm starting to accumulate a little bit of energy, so I can start bringing my missile ships down. But that was very late. And I still haven't taken out that town, and these helicopters are using up a lot of my energy on their journey. And here's my pack of missile ships coming down now to knock some of those helicopters out. And now I can start shipping some across. I've produced infantry. So there's a lot of optimization to be done here to my own game. So even though the game looks a bit slow probably when you see it as a small section, but when you're actually playing it, there's a lot to be on your mind, and you have to make a lot of decisions and think of a lot of things. I've got a lot of forces here now. and they look very poorly arranged. I just left them to be produced. Those infantry can't do much about those helicopters, so that's really good. And finally my missile ships are coming down to do something about those terrible helicopters. You got a lot of use out of those helis, but now I think they've seen the end of the day here. Helicopters are so slow for an air unit, so a bunch of missile ships like that will just make them into fireworks, really. He's gonna have to keep those helis grounded now, pretty much. And now he's gone up tanks, but I've got so many units here now, so I can really protect myself against those tanks by surrounding them. I'll have a lot of infantry firing on the same tank all around them. And I've got my coast units, and I've got some anti-air there, some missile ships. And I still haven't knocked out that town. So my missile ships there have managed to ground his helis, and I can do a little bit, but I don't have many troops to send across anymore. So that was a very poorly executed amphibious attack from my end. "14 energy, so I can't really do miracles here with my energy consuming units. So artillery doesn't use, as you might have figured out, the artillery does not use any energy. It's only tanks that maybe it looks a bit strange since they're motorized, but it's for the game balance. The artillery does not use it, nor does the SAM. So I've got an incredible arc of artillery there, nearly insane. That's just hammering out and eliminating his entire army there that he had on the main island. Those so many barrels of artillery firing on all of those units, they're totally toast. And my missile ships just about reached the city there, so I can take that one out. And he got a little bit annoyed at all my artillery there. So that's it. That was the match. It was 41 minutes. I hope you enjoyed watching it. So let's look a little bit at the statistics. I generated about 3,000 more in capital. I had a lot more upkeep there. I produced about 50% more energy. I consumed all of my energy, even more, because you can over-consume a little bit. Might sound strange. Produced 450 compared to 368 units, lost about the same, 333 versus 337. Units lost worth, he lost a little bit more worth of units there. Structures constructed, he built 32 structures, and he lost 4,450 worth of structures there, whereas I only managed to lose 250. That was my only barrack, I think, that I lost in the whole thing. And he built a city. I didn't build any, but I had my towns and my trade routes and territory conquest there. So that was a little bit of a recap of one of the matches, and we're really enjoying making this game, and it's a lot of fun to play it as well. And all these worlds are seeded, so it's a randomly generated world, and even though you play on the same world over and over again, you could. It's a lot of fun. They play out very differently every time. And also you have literally hundreds of thousands or millions of maps to play, and we're still working on implementing the rest of the game design. Most of the units that we've intended to be in the game are in it. We're missing the aircraft carrier. And on top of that, though, there's a lot of extra features that are coming now, like fortification, infrastructure. We're improving the directives that the units can follow. But that's only a small fraction. There'll be tons of more things that we're going to be adding to the game. So, and we'll also improve the visuals and the audio. These are really the alpha version graphics, so we're going to release this game in early access now this summer, and then we're going to be continuing to developing it throughout the year, and the main release is going to be next year, but then I'm pretty sure we're going to be continuing to work on it even after that, because we want to keep improving the game and building upon it for a pretty long time to come, and hopefully there'll be a big player base that plays this one and enjoys the strategic elements of it just as much as we do. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon in another video.